priority pick of Kog'Maw is stricken away as well.
Yeah, taken from Smlz, who has been one of the best Kog'Maw players that we've seen, alongside what is now a Graves ban. One big curious thing that I've always seen is that we ban Malzahar when there are definitely now counters or picks that are good into the Malzahar. Lulu never gets banned compared to someone like the Malzahar. And the reason that you can afford to ban this, or say it is a good ban away from EDG, is that Meiko, if he's able to actually make the plays, he's an Annie player. Malzahar is like the meta Annie right now in terms of how they're able to get things done.
And now with that priority towards the mid laners and supports, a little bit of the AD carries and jungle, we've got a spicing of everything in terms of those bans. First pick for OMG is going to be focusing towards World 6, putting it on something that enables him, that Elise. We've seen how huge he can be if he can pair up with Smlz and 5 in a strong bottom lane, but now they have to contest with one of the strongest picks in the LPL overall. That Fizz is locked in for EDG.
And whilst you would say that the Elise is a fine jungle pick, it doesn't mean that Clearlove's jungle pool has been completely eradicated. There's a Graves ban, and it's an Elise pick, so Clearlove can default to pretty much anything in the jungle pool, whether it's Rengar, whether it's Lee Sin, depends how aggressive he's feeling. And what this means is that EDG have seen the Elise, they said, okay, we can match that. They'll pick a Fizz, which is arguably the best top laner right now, the highest win rate in top lane for the LPL. And an Ashe, which is one of the most crucial picks. Takes away the Ashe-Lulu combo that everyone's now running themselves as well.
Now, a bit of a prediction from OMG, though. They're expecting that Fizz to go into the top lane as they are looking to fill out Xiyang with his own champion pool. He has been huge on that Shen. That's been his #1 go-to. And mainly it's been tanks behind it, but every once in a while we see him break out a bruiser. And knowing that he is a very effective shot caller for the team, this could enable him to see some success.
It's not just that he's breaking out the bruiser. I believe the one time he played Renekton in recent history was into a Fizz where he did perform quite well. So it just seems to be his comfortable champion of choice into the matchup, something that I've no doubt he's practiced behind the scenes for an extensive amount of time. Alongside that, though, the Varus means that they are kind of generating this pick composition already with their initial 3 champions of choice, as this is oddly unsurprising.
Yeah, we get to see Clearlove on his namesake Rek'Sai. So mobile on that champion. He is going to be all over the map, and there's already an Ashe to provide additional vision. They've got such mobility on Fizz.
It speaks towards what Clearlove does as a player for this team. He's not meant to be the mechanical genius. He's not a World 6 running around on Summoner's Rift. He's meant to be a smart decision-making player who wants to control the map or prevent the enemy jungler from getting things done. So now that they've got an Elise, they have a buff-to-buff jungler, lots of ganks also going to be capable. Clearlove can try and at least thwart some of those or prevent some ganks from happening.
And it's interesting to see through this pick and ban how the priorities have shaken out. It's been AD, top, and jungle for both of the teams through the first half of the rotation. That means mid and support is wide open. EDG used that window to double ban Icon, taking away his Echo and his Ahri, put him on something a little bit less safe, whereas OMG hedged their bets. They go 1 ban away from Meiko's Thresh and 1 ban towards Syndra. And now with 10 seconds left on the clock, EDG could run the gambit with a flex Karma, or they could just decide to go straight for the support. Now, for those of you who are very deep into League of Legends, you will know that Lulu was played mid yesterday in the LCK finals. This hasn't been seen in the LPL yet, and it seems very late in the season to see it shake out now.
I would say it's super unlikely that Scout does that as well. Karma is usually the flex of choice. Lulu is pretty much always going to be your support player here in the LPL anyway. They didn't go for a mid lane pick, however. They want to see what Icon has before they counter it, from the looks of it. Of course, the Fizz can potentially be flexed if the stars align and they really want to win top lane. Koro is a carry player, but I think Fizz is the best champion for him.
Very, very strong top laner. Lots of flexibility, but OMG, they decide to round things out with Nami down bottom to follow up with Smlz's Varus. And with Icon giving a hover towards that Orianna, he could be giving a nod towards yesterday, in which he was able to take the champion in game #3 to great effect in enabling his team. Oh, this will be interesting if he decides to swap it over. Karma is now locked in here, and Icon going to be taking that in the mid lane.
Yeah, known for his Ahri and Echo that were banned away from him, Icon still can sometimes reach out into his champion pool and get something that's a bit more of a control mage. Karmas in the LPL find themselves doing quite a lot of damage. I wouldn't say it's a universal thing, though, for Karmas to be doing that much. Also, perhaps the Ori hover just speaking homage towards his opponent, who may well be looking for it.
Scout could decide to go for that control mage. He's still got some time to lock it in, decides to commit to the Orianna, and there is a lot of potential for EDG to take some very chaotic, very high damage fights against OMG with the comp they've got lined up.
This is a good matchup for the Karma in the mid lane. There are very few ways where either of them die, but Karma should always have the push priority in the early stages of the game. When you look at OMG as a team, they've got a Renekton for top lane who pushes when he harasses. They've got the Karma who does the exact same thing. Their bottom lane's the only one that's up in the air in terms of who has lane control. You would assume it's EDG, but if OMG get an inkling or any kind of one trades and suddenly they out-sustain, that is the Nami Varus matchup. And so World 6 potentially just unlocked everywhere.
Yeah, and we saw how great he can be if he has a clear goal in mind, a clear focus. His shot calling and teamwork with 5 is going to be so important during the early and mid game against the likes of EDG that are so punishing at taking a convincing early game. And Icon himself, the hitman in the mid lane for OMG, the bad boy, is going up against Scout. It's going to be support mage versus control mage. So tragically, we're not going to be seeing too many sparks fly this early on unless they will be skirmishing. But I think the big look is going to be towards that bottom lane and then towards the junglers.
Yeah, and I'm going to say particularly the junglers. If you're OMG, of course, the lanes are going to have a lot of potency themselves. Smlz and 5 do like to fight. There is a very real chance that somebody dies. And knowing how Clearlove has always worked with his bottom lane, there is a chance that we see 3v3 skirmishes breaking out in the bottom lane.
Exactly, and that's exactly what Frostgiren was talking about, how with Clearlove on the roster, we're looking to see if the likes of Meiko and Scout really start to pop off and level up. We know that they play well with Fire Lolly, but having that huge experienced veteran of Clearlove, one of the older players in the LPL, really just helps things out.
And that's where you have to actually give a quick shout out to OMG for their draft phase. They got rid of the Thresh and they got rid of the Malzahar, 2 big champions that enable Meiko to be a playmaker or a carry for his team. They default him to a Lulu, and it doesn't mean that EDG have a losing lane, just means that the Lulu can't make plays in the same way. He's a bit more Zet reliant with the Ashe, or Clearlove getting a flash off to actually make that play happen.
And with that though, we have loaded onto the Rift. The fans are chanting for their teams.
I'm not going to say it's a
little quiet
quite the noise that an LCK audience provides, but that's also because we have it turned down a little bit.
Not to mention this is also 3rd, 4th place. This is not even the finals, though this is still a very important match, as again, it does have implications for world seeding.
Very curious for the fan vote, however. You say OMG is the people's hero, but EDG have also got a massive following. So.
Yeah, and that's so hard to believe when just a few years ago, EDG were hated in the LPL for breaking up Team WE.
You beat SKT and you win MSI, anything's possible.
And then you start to build some fans, exactly. So now this is an organization that has gone through, started from the bottom with the motto, results are everything.
Now they're Drake.
And now they're Drake. They are on cloud 9.
Icon also running Deathfire Touch. You will notice that pretty much every Karma around the world except the LPL will go for Thunderlords to increase their burst a little bit. Going for Deathfire Touch gives you more damage in prolonged trading or damage over time, which is arguably just better for winning lane. If there are trades that last over 20 seconds, it's instantly more efficient from level 1. So Deathfire Touch is a fair way to go, but it also gives you the 7% bonus penetration from the Mastery Tree, which is where if you build AP Karma, your damage will be increased by quite a lot.
We'll have to keep an eye on Icon's damage and see if that's what he is going to do as he starts trading with Scout. You can already see just a little harass.
Trading, but also pushing him under the turret constantly. So that's the big thing that this should provide. Scout being level 1 on the Orianna, if he ticks over to 2, may have to go dissonance with attack to match the wave clear. And at that point, he'll still get pushed under because Icon uses 1 spell to push and 1 to shield himself. So he'd win trades.
Yeah, now taking a look at the junglers, we've had Buff and Camp. Now they're heading towards the opposite side. Clearlove going towards his own Dire Wolves and then over towards blue, whereas World 6 going straight on over towards his red buff.
And speaking of push, as we just mentioned in the mid lane, Xiyang will always be under his turret for a different reason, and that's if Fizz has kill threat or lane control. You could see him last hitting all of those minions by empowering his auto attacks. If he does empower it, the cooldowns reset. So he constantly does it, constantly pushes. You just don't want to give Fizz that lane control where Xiyang actually needs to work around it, actually push people in. But because World 6, as you mentioned, the jungle pathing, he's mid.
Yeah, flash snare, that's Ghost. Flash, but the tether still pops. World 6 follows up with a repel. He's got red buff for the slow. Ghost is about to wear off. There's the cocoon. They've got damage, but is it enough? It is. First blood on OMG Icon.
You may have Flash and Ghost, but you're not going to outrun a Karma and an Elise when the cocoon connects. Unfortunately for Scout, It's a very difficult thing to time, but he did not dodge the cocoon, and he has made pay for it. So OMG start this game off the right way, getting first blood on the Scout.
Already trying to limit that aggressive mid laner, and this is excellent from OMG to see them so readily return towards those strengths. Even though Icon is on that support mage, we are still seeing him move forward, and this is when we saw OMG saw success against the likes of Aime and against Team WE.
And you can see all the vision on the bottom side river. There was just no way for him to get out, even if that vision was there. The fact that Icon throws the tether down, flashes to close distance, there was nothing actually going to help him escape from that. The best case scenario for Scout was that he holds his flash and actually goes over the Raptor wall, or he flashes to avoid the Elise repel, but he had no idea what World 6 was going to do. So tragically, he comes to an end.
Yep. Very unfortunate, but he makes his way back into the mid lane. Double Doran's ring and finds himself at a slight deficit. Meanwhile, trading bottom is Zet and Meiko are just trying to demonstrate to Smlz some high damage. We're not seeing any summoner spells burned just yet, though there are very low health pools on both sides. And this is where the Nami sustain comes up big.
Well, they actually, there you go, yeah.
Good bubble from 5 forces the flash out of Meiko. Here's the minion wave, and Smlz has to back away. They're looking for a gank mid lane, and meanwhile, World 6 with a counter stops Clearlove from making anything happen.
Obviously, World 6 showing that he's a repeat offender when it comes to the lane of choice. But Clearlove was actually there this time. Again, all the vision now being set up. Clearlove mapping himself through that vision to try and at least get some ganks off himself, perhaps, or prevent World 6 from.
Even staying in the area to keep his mid laner safe, knowing that Rek'Sai could be nearby. And take a look at the vision we see out of EDG. It's all prioritized towards that top side. We've got double control board plus an additional 3 wards nearby, and now even Scryer's Bloom. They've already got a winning top lane. You can see Koro is now bringing a very large minion wave and is about to tick over level 6. Xiyang, without any vision on this side of the map, is going to have to be careful.
It definitely does. It does feel like, and we were seeing shades of this yesterday through the EDG RNG series, is let the top lane Fizz carry the game. If he started on this strong of a foot against a Renekton, then you'd expect that only gets better from here on out for EDG. It's about, can they enable him? Can they actually set Koro 1 up to carry when he's performing this well?
Yeah. Clearlove makes his way into lane as that's just a little bit of an aggressive trade. Koro trying to bait this Renekton in, but this is a massive minion wave. Xiyang has no reason to go forward.
He wants to throw his Q out under the minion wave to regain as much health back as possible, but essentially when you're watching these guys trade, Clearlove, I don't think he's here to get the gank off, especially when there's a cannon wave that is pressuring under the turret. It takes too long to die. The next minion wave will crash pretty much as it stands right now, so Xiyang doesn't have to push forwards. But he's choosing to...
Yeah, gets caught by the fish. He's under the turret, but immediately pops Dominus. So that's ulti traded for ulti. And Koro, with a greater health advantage, just walks back into lane. They finally have vision of that Rek'Sai, however, and you can see World 6 makes his way bottom. And the fan vote is split 50-50, almost in favor of OMG at 52 to 48%.
Not surprised that the fan vote is this close this time around, but OMG having the 4% lead goes to show where the Chinese fans actually put their faith in. Shockwave's on.
Underdog story as Icon gets flung back by that Shockwave. He manages to snare Scout, but Clearlove is there. World 6 ready in the jungle along with 5 present enough of a threat to push EDG back.
Yeah, they're able to pretty much stop that from happening. You could see that Scout was trying to juke in and out of the tether range to prevent the second part of the heal. Clearlove had flash, could have flash knocked up, but there wasn't enough damage to secure him just yet. Even with Icon's item build, not going for the Chalice first item, straight into the offense route. Clearly wants the Morellos, is asserting his alpha male status in the 1v1.
The dominant mid laner, the hitman, showing up to try and take some names. And
there's 2 tunnels in this lane that he's just not clearing.
Yeah, they are just crossed out. Icon does not want to stand still against an Orianna. Even though now he saw that the recall is completed, now he's finally clearing them out. Gets one of them. As World 6, seeing that the Orianna is missing, gets a chance to ward the red buff and actually will start invading. He's got some assistance from Icon and push priority from Xiyang up top.
Clearlove knows.
Yeah, fires a shot, sees that it's missing.
He's not feeling lucky today, Mr. Clearlove, so he's going to abandon the top side, red buff at the very least. However, this is a potential dive. Remember, no repels available.
Yeah, Xiyang sets it up. He takes some damage. Koro tries to answer back and gets the kill. The burn is ticking, and Xiyang will die. It's 1 for 1, and World 6 barely survives. Clearlove's on the hunt. And just outside of range of the Tremor Sense is World 6.
World 6 is a lucky man to be alive. He didn't flash. He almost just died to the turret, but red buff regeneration will keep him happy and healthier than he otherwise would have been. Clearlove a little bit too late. He knew the red was being taken, or was gone, so they suspected something was up on the top side of the map. That's why you can see him up here, but unfortunately not going to be able to arrive in time. Koro was always going to die when there's 3 diving him. It's about who could he take with him. And he actually got a 1-for-1 trade on a 3-person tower dive. No damage to the structure. You'd be very happy with that if you were Fizz.
Absolutely. And we're seeing something new out of OMG as we crest over towards that 9-minute mark. They're 1,000 gold ahead, but they're playing towards the mid lane. They're playing towards the top lane. They're playing towards Xiyang and Icon, whereas when we've seen them succeed against Iman and WE, it was rotating around Smlz and trying to get him ahead. Well, right now he's just sitting bottom, keeping even with Zet. And OMG are doing very well in the mid lane. You do have that assist to the 1 kill of Koro, so tragically that lane is difficult, but we'll see if Xiyang can continue to scale.
It is a slight strategy change from them, I will agree. Orianna also getting the blue buff means they're in a position where they might want to feel more aggressive, perhaps make a power play. Top side, we mentioned already, a dive was there. The one problem that he's currently experiencing is the recall timing was awkward. He has a Mana Crystal, but not a Sheen. Yeah. These trades would be a lot better if he had the Sheen.
The recall timing, you mean the dive?
The death timing, yeah. But it's still a hooky 4.
It did. As now we can see Koro and Clearlove being pulled towards this mid lane. So much priority towards it. Koro leaps forward, tags the fish, but Icon just flashes to the side.
And that's always going to be worth it for Koro. Just throwing out an ultimate, getting a summoner spell, means that Clearlove has now acknowledged that. EDG have timed that. They can always look towards the middle lane for a kill. Again, we already mentioned no Chalice of Harmony going to be there for Icon. He's going the offensive route, but that means he's a little bit more fragile. So there's no resistances to keep him alive if they get the shockwave on.
And with that, we see him sitting very far back under that turret as most of his vision on that top side has disappeared. He has no vision of Clearlove as he's at his Krugs right now. And with World 6 and 5 once again collapsing onto the vision of EDG, they're just going to clear out some wards and zone EDG back. Play around that ward, play around that missing knowledge from where Clearlove could be.
And there's no expectations for junglers to try and solo the Drake just yet. Elise isn't very good at doing the Ocean Drake. The AoE will kill the Spiderlings too quickly, and then the Elise, being a fragile champion, will naturally go down with it. So as it stands, they're waiting for a gank to be extremely successful or for something to happen where they have a numbers advantage to the point where the Drake can be looked at. An early Ocean, super impactful, hard to take.
Absolutely. Clearlove will spot World 6, flash from World 6. As he immediately turns around, and Scout even using his Ghost as well as Icon. Still hanging on this mid lane, has not completed a recall since those earlier ganks. And tries to trade, misses a little bit of CS, but gets a good tag back on the Scout, who flashes forward with the auto, solo killing his lane opponent. He's taking a turret hit. World 6 is knocked up by Clearlove and might have bitten off too much more than he could chew. Auto attack trades it. It's going to be 1-for-1, and Clearlove has got Flash, but more than that, he's got the Prey Seeker. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of EDG.
And he's able to do all of this, Scout, because of the flashes burned before. They break it in the mid lane. The Fizz now plays a part in that kill successfully. Elise not having Flash means that he has to basically kill himself to get the kill onto Scout for a trade at all. And now Clearlove pressures the mid lane turret. He may just go for it.
It's very low health. You see the teleport completed from Icon, and Clearlove actually is going to walk away as Icon breaks his snare.
You can time the tether with the tunnels. You can time crowd control with the tunnels, so it looked like he was moving seamlessly, but as he was underground, he was blindly stunned.
Yeah.
And somehow could still cover distance.
Excellent play from Clearlove. Good to see him in form here as Koro is now doing some work up top against Xiyang, getting this minion wave trading in. No longer as much kill threat as we can see the Null Magic Mantle going into an eventual...
Oh, World 6.
No.
Why'd you even throw W? I think he was looking for the Gromp and just didn't click far enough.
Yeah, might have clicked on his minimap maybe.
What a disaster.
That's on the other side. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe his minimap's on the left.
Oh yeah, could be.
You can swap him.
Regardless, though, that's no blue buff for Icon, and with his mid-tier 1 down, we're starting to see the immediate presence of EDG on this side of the map. They get a lot of wards, they steal away the Raptor camp. You can now see even Zet and Meiko are starting to push down and get some wards to help out the jungler of Clearlove and Scout. And Smlz well aware of this. He's sitting underneath his tier 1. The arrow
Arrow.
is launched and catches Icon. Clearlove is ready, gets a knock-up. They've got the shockwave, but they decide to use it very early on. He goes down. World 6 tries to run for the hills. Xiyang completes his teleport. Koro shows up as well. They're fighting in a very tight corridor. Zed is doing great damage, however, as he chases them back. Eats a cocoon. Xiyang in the back is diving, getting huge AoE, but he just doesn't have any follow-up from his team. He too dies as EDG push OMG all the way under a tier 2.
They may not be able to threaten anything further. They might get some damage onto the bottom lane outer turret, but the minions haven't been prepared. They're just diving super deep because the arrow connects. They find an opportunity to take down Icon again. He might be a little bit happy he didn't have the blue buff, honestly, in retrospect, because it stays with World 6. OMG definitely struggling at 13 minutes. EDG hits 6. They use their ultimates. They open the map.
Absolutely, and like you said, it all started with a single gank in the mid lane, timing the flashes of your opponents. This is the EDG that we like to see, that we wanted to see yesterday, just so cleverly abusing these tiny windows of opportunity. And with that, they are taking the Ocean Drake, getting huge damage on the bottom tier 1. Zed's staying. He's going to have to get one more. Oh, he eats a lot of turret shots here. Smlz fires the piercing arrow through the minions. He walks through, but is tagged and slowed. And Smlz does not have the cooldown below 50 health. Zet walks to safety.
Lucky to be alive, but a bit of a peanut for using his overexertion there to try to actually commit. Scout diving.
He's got the shockwave, and Scout is trading onto Xiyang. He heals it right on back, but times the auto attack perfectly for another kill. This is Scout enabled by his team.
And that's actually just some fantastic calculations out of the Orianna. Diving a turret against the Renekton, knowing that the ultimate was on cooldown, the flash wasn't, but still confident enough to actually make that play. You really have to commend him, honestly, for his Orianna work so far.
And now you see the swap from OMG. They're trying to trade as they shove bottom back, and they take their first turret of the game.
Koro could have ulted the wave, but I don't think he has enough ability power just yet to clear it. However, he could have tried.
Yeah.
Instead, he lets it go. Happy to have perhaps make a trade in the top lane, yet Scout hasn't decided to go for the last remaining outer turret.
Yeah.
And it could just be the EDG of swapping their bottom lane up there to pressure it a bit further, maybe deny a bit of extra farm, but from the looks of it, they're just going mid.
Yeah, Zet was heading towards that side of the map, takes a quick detour to clear out the minions. Meiko shows up to assist him, as that's recall from Scout to head back top. Maybe he's going to look for another dive if Xiyang tries to head back up there, but instead it's Smlz and 5 heading towards that side of the map.
That's got to be the logic for it. You know, Zet has his ultimate, Meiko has his. We know that summoner spells are missing widely across the board, so if an arrow connects, the only reason Scout wouldn't have taken that turret with a wave there is that they want another kill, or they want to utilize getting the turret to get 2 turrets, or to get a Rift Herald, or whatever they like.
And that's exactly what we see here. Koro remains bottom to push another wave and finally breaks down the bottom tier 1. So turret advantage for EDG. We're still seeing Scout play towards the top side as Clearlove and Meiko are clearing out a lot of this vision from Team OMG as the cocoon is sidestepped by Meiko. And with all of the wards they've got down here, with the Ashe, the Rek'Sai, and the huge Orianna damage from that 3-2-2 Scout, they can definitely pop someone if they find one, but they're just going to keep moving back and forth between mid and top.
Yeah, 2 control wards placed, sweeper used by Clearlove, all of the vision in the world. They brought Koro up. You'd almost feel like this is a past 20-minute play from EDG, but they're actually just pressuring the top side of the map for the next blue buff, it feels like.
Yeah.
And the top lane turret, which was already going to go down. This is the thing that you can do when mid-outer is the first outer turret to actually die, suddenly making plays 10 times easier.
Yeah, they've got all of those tier 1s taken down now. You can still see Xiyang was split pushing on that bottom side of the map, so there is a chance that OMG could try to counter push and maybe look for a tier 2, but they need to defend as 5 members of OMG are rotating between mid and top. And when they do have so much pick, that is a really threatening setup to see. And they just happen to have turned on at, what, the 10-minute mark? It's all started with that one gank mid.
Yeah, they found a small opening, and they utilized that opening to try and break the whole map completely open. They have done so. And to kind of just iterate on the point you were making, OMG, can they actually make a counterplay, or can they kind of do some push? Based off what we know, the vision there is not going to be sufficient to make that play.
Their wards have just been cleared out.
They're being completely bled out of the top side jungle. So the way it's going to have to work for them is to generate a pick through the Elise, or Karma bursting someone out, maybe hitting the tether, or Renekton has to be there. But as it stands, EDG are putting a 5-man effort towards controlling that area.
And OMG seem like they can't respond. I think the terminology you just used is excellent. They are being bled out. This is the sort of style that we saw WE use so effectively in game number 1. Just very patient, intelligent play, not taking any risky chances against the likes of OMG because they will take a chaotic team fight. And if they can succeed, we're getting closer to the 20-minute mark, they could turn things around.
You have to play aggressively but close to perfectly against OMG because the slightest mishap or mistake and they'll actually open the map up completely. They'll win that team fight because you never expect them to take the team fight. But that's just because you've made one mistake, they've acknowledged it, and they found their opportunity in. And that is basically how EDG are playing this out. It's kind of similar to how EDG were playing against RNG, in that they were trying really hard to actually just slow the pace of the game down, you know, pick like the Ivern composition and just be very strategic running around the map. But having Clearlove in the roster obviously helps a bit.
Well, we do actually see OMG, again, very characteristically, looking for a pick with World 6 to try to turn things around. This is a play that they've tried time and time again, but Meiko, very intelligent, ducking around the vision. Meanwhile, taking stock of the map, the mid-tier 2 has been broken by EDG during that disconnect. And with that, you can see OMG are pushing their vision back, trying to reclaim some vision on this side of the map. But Meiko is just being a total nuisance on this Lulu. And again, Scout is pushing top. They've got Koro with teleport, grouping mid to look for a play before he'll have to cover bottom against Xiyang. Things are looking good for EDG as they continue to press further and further closer to OMG's base. And now they're even going so far as to take Rift Herald.
Yeah, you know, if Harold's dying, there's certainly just a free time with nothing else to take. You have to imagine that Scout's currently holding the enemy blue buff, which is what we were talking about before. All the vision was set up for it. And there's a spawning in a minute. But OMG, they know Herald's been done.
This is not Baron. They get Chain of Corruption onto Zet and dodge the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. The AD carry, they throw everything at him. Shockwave flings World 6 back in, but a huge fish catches Smlz. The two-man gank squad dive onto him and kill him and continue chasing forward. Xiyang tries to get into the back, but he goes down, and Scout now follows on World 6, flashing the wall aggressively, eating just a bit of burst from that Elise, but there's not enough. That's going to be a double kill for Scout. Meanwhile, the gank squad was able to turn things around bottom. It is 2 versus 4, and EDG are looking for another tier 2.
Yeah, Clearlove did go down, but Koro lived it. Teleporting, not even teleporting, just back to full health. Icon's trying his best to consolidate what's been a very unfortunate team fight for his team, but EDG working with low health, playing around those health values extremely well. Zet gets caught and gets completely bursted out, but he doesn't flash, just uses his heal. They rely, look at Koro's fish with Clearlove. At this stage, Smlz, usually the big carry for the team. He has 3 people protecting him, and nothing will kill Scout, even though World 6 is on top of him. The confidence here to flash over knowing that his shield's about to expire, but because he has Meiko nearby. Just really good communication, honestly, coming out of the EDG side for 2 separate fights at the same time.
And this is what we wanted to see now that they are bringing the likes of Clearlove into the roster. Sure, he hasn't had great stats returning to the LPL in 2017, but it's what he does to the star players of Scout. It's what he does when Meiko is enabled and feeling like he can make these plays. And with that, that is now the tier 2 up top going down. 5 turrets to 1 in favor of OMG. They're taking Cloud Dragon as well. And this map is becoming remarkably precarious for OMG. If they lose a fight like that again, that could mean Baron.
Yeah, it could mean a lot of things for EDG, the way that this map is now breaking out. 6,000 as a gold difference. The first big thing that I noticed a couple of minutes ago, EDG actually just diving, never mind.
They're collapsing onto World 6. He repels up, sidesteps, but is going to be knocked up. The arrow catches 5 down the mid lane. He's still stunned, but they decide to back away. And off of the pick on the jungler, they are running into the river. It's game number 1 of the 3rd place match, and EDG are running so aggressively against the likes of OMG.
They've got 2 tanks.
Yeah, they turn onto it. Here comes OMG trying to sweep through the vision. They've got to walk through most of this jungle dark, setting up wards as they go. Piercing arrow is going to find the back line. Koro tries to zone it out. They manage to kill Meiko, but Baron is picked up by EDG. And with that knock-up, OMG are continuing to play around this, and Clearlove tunnels away. EDG make it back to base.
Yeah, OMG can't chase any further. Their vision pretty much ended at the pit itself. They get a pick onto Meiko, but it's just the support. So their best case scenario here for OMG, get a turret, get out before they come back to the lane. Because right now, if Scout shows up, he still has Shockwave, people die.
Yeah, he does a lot of damage. Clears out the minion wave, though, as he does have his Luden's Echo and the rod? Ability power rod. Blasting wand. That's the one. It's day 11 of casting. Names are becoming more and more difficult as time goes on. Regardless, though, EDG are now running so aggressively against OMG. And the crazy thing is, we've seen this play before from OMG against Team WE in game number 3. And they turned around, they almost turned around the set in there.
It's just refreshing to see EDG being the team doing this. Not just because it's to OMG, but they're being aggressive against the aggressive team and beating them pretty much across the board for it. It's just that, like, EDG came in yesterday against RNG, and they played a really calm, patient, measured style, or tried to anyway, of League of Legends, ultimately losing that. Now they come back, and they are aggressive. They are making the plays, showing there's more than one shade to this team.
And like you've said, it really speaks to the mental fortitude of the likes of EDG to recover and play aggressively against OMG. You can see how desperately OMG are looking for these fights time and time again, because if they find one, they can get back into this, but EDG are just playing it so smartly.
And it's not just that, 23 minutes is the only, like, it's such a short amount of time that has gone through in this game at the moment, but they're threatening a bottom lane inhibitor already. The gold lead's massive. Even through all of this aggression, they've just slowly but assuredly garnered a larger and larger gold advantage through kills that have become objectives. They haven't gone for objectives that translated into a dive. They found you in the jungle in a very deep, aggressive place before making a kill then objective out of it.
And now they're running the 4-1 split with Koro using that teleport to push in mid, and the rest of EDG pushing in bottom. They've still got Baron for about 2 minutes.
Koro is also pressuring inside the base.
Yeah, he goes in, the arrow will miss, but with Scout moving forward, he eats a cocoon. Koro is actually pulling 3 members' attention. Shockwave onto World 6 and the attack dissonance. They're able to burst down the turret, though they lose their top laner. Zet is firing across, and that's Chain of Corruption onto the back line. OMG chase it forward, but Icon misses. Zet is in the front line. He is doing so much damage. Knows that he's got a Lulu just behind on the other side of the wall and is free firing.
He still had flash that whole time, so confident. EDG just brute forced their way into the base. Shockwave hits one person, Koro dies, and they still look at a 4v5 and say, bring it on.
Yeah.
And take an inhibitor.
Amazing play from EDG to break the bottom half of the map wide open. They've still got Baron for about 30 seconds, probably just going to use it to recall and reset the map. As we take a look at the items off of that play, that's Runon's Hurricane finished from Zet, and now he's finished off his own Quicksilver Sash and is getting even tankier. Void Staff topped up from Scout out of that Blasting Wand. And then contrasting it with the items of Team OMG, Icon, he's pretty big. He's got Morello's Athons plus an NLR, as Clearlove is trying to take some gold from World 6.
Has stepped up a little bit too far by himself to place some wards, so he's getting put back into his hole.
But again, to contrast the items, Xiyang, all he has is the Black Cleaver and the components of a Spirit Visage. You take a look at Koro, he's already 2 items in, plus that Sheen. This is a massive advantage for EDG in terms of items.
Not to mention that, right? Like, Icon has got items, but he's gone for Athene's Unholy Grail with Morello's, and he couldn't make his mind up, obviously, so he's just gone for both. One of them is to be a bit tankier and have more sustain, as World 6 should be fine.
Yeah, Clearlove is just invading this jungle with Meiko. He's got Scout, he's got Zet just behind him, as now OMG immediately pushing towards the next side of the map. Enchanted Crystal Arrow tries to lead the Shockwave fight, but misses. And still, OMG push forward.
But you can see it. How good is the communication out of EDG right now? Scout is playing so aggressively, but he's got Zet throwing the arrows as Scout is using a Shockwave, to the point where if one hits, they both hit, the target dies. Even against Xiyang, as a tanky member of the team, they are confident enough to make these plays because they're acknowledging how far ahead they are and how to win the game.
You can even see how tanky Clearlove is, just pressing onto those wards.
And OMG are just constantly overextending to try and place wards down. Xiyang always deep in lanes to clear them. So it is still the right call as Zet.
Ooh, they caught Zet, but that's going to be the Quicksilver Sash. Redemption dropped down as Scout is healed up, and Zet relies on his red buff to keep himself at high health.
He's no life still.
But that's 2 ultimates blown by EDG to look for a pick. All they find is 2 items instead.
Yeah, not exactly what OMG want, which means this next wave coming in. Unfortunately, there's no Baron to speak of. A Cloud Drake spawning doesn't mean too much for the side of EDG. Realistically, they just wanted the Shockwave to be back up and available, and it is.
Yeah,
but keep your eyes on the Ori.
Super minions are on the Nexus turrets. Xiyang is trying to deal with that. Smlz is finally able to clear these waves with the rune ends of his own, but Koro is running 2 lanes right now. There's the swap towards mid from EDG with Koro hanging out bottom. Shockwave is going to miss Smlz as he walks away, but the minion wave is cleared out again. They're working down the base before finally deciding to back away. 80 seconds for Baron to spawn. Cloud Dragon is up as well. And they're just going to reset the map.
Notice how EDG have actually put Scout towards the Drake side of the map with Clearlove. They give the red to Koro as they go for the Cloud Drake. You'd expect Clearlove to come over and help. And then they give Scout the blue buff before they recall. Not just that, at the same time, they were looking at the enemy blue buff to steal it, but fortunately for OMG, they came over in time to prevent that from happening. But this is 3 separate things.
Ooh, as they catch Meiko looking for, 5 warding Baron.
4 separate things that have all just kind of happened at the same time. Which again, Meiko playing confidently, shot calling with Clearlove, who's gone from red buff to Drake. That kill onto 5 results because they had Zet and Meiko near the blue buff looking for it. They have kill pressure, and they actually catch somebody placing vision for the Baron, which is going to be up now in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
All of this is just such strong cross-map play.
Yeah, this is EDG playing the map as a 5 versus 5, and OMG tragically are not pulling themselves together, lacking that focus that they needed so desperately.
See, the better way to define it, though, is like OMG excel at 5 versus 5. EDG are playing 2, 1, or 2, or just 1, 1 everywhere. They're avoiding the 5v5.
Alrighty. Playing the intelligent game, playing the map instead of the team, and now EDG find themselves diving forwards as the fish is tossed out. It is going to miss World 6 as he gets knocked up and is taking a lot of damage. Bubble is dodged, and Koro is going so deep with his team following him up. Zet is there. They're going to try to turn and kill him, though, as they blow all of their CC, but he is so tanky. Pops up and hops right away. But that is 1-2 ultimates blown yet again, and Baron has spawned.
That's one tanky Fizz, man.
Whoa!
That's one dead fish, man.
And another assassination from Scout. He is doing huge damage as he punishes Team OMG. They turn now onto the Baron, and despite the fact that Xiyang is on the way, that is not going to stand a chance of a steal. There is so much shred from the likes of Team EDG. They take it out, and looks like we've got recall being completed out of Meiko as he makes his way back. So they've got Baron. The inhibitors respawn, but EDG just need to reset the map and break the base again. It's
safe to say that was one of the easiest Barons in their life to take down because 5 is trying to play like his namesake and have as many deaths as his name. At this stage, the 2 deaths have happened recently, but because he is such a squishy member, because they're behind, which means the fish is behind even more so, not tanky, will just crumble.
EDG continue to press forward with their advantage now. If they take this game number 1 so confidently, it will be great as they find Xiyang looking for a flank. Smlz clears out the minion wave with Koro split pushing bottom, and World 6 again split from his team. He pops up, and it's going to stall just a bit of time, but the arrow is timed this time. Zet is sitting under the spider, and the arrows will squish it out. Even Koro was teleporting in. He was just outside of vision.
Small side note, Dom. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you repel, you see an enemy ward, you can actually go down to it.
If you have vision of it.
Yeah. 5 had his sweeper available. He could have actually revealed the ward to give him an escape route. That is unfortunate, small thing, but it could have actually saved the life of the Elise.
Yes. Now EDG, they've pushed bottom to take the inhibitor, and they immediately swap up towards mid. Eventually, someone's going to need to go top and fetch that minion wave, but now this is 2 inhibs broken with the Baron. They've still got it for 2.5 minutes. Mountain Dragon is going to be spawning up next, so they are just running the map all over OMG. And all 3 of OMG's sets here in the playoffs have started the same number way. Game number 1 has been a huge stomp against them. The question is, this is probably the most convincing stomp yet. Can they come back?
Yeah, this is just a super simple, super clean, well-played game of League of Legends from EDG. Closer to what we expect from them. Closer to what we expected from them yesterday.
Yeah.
Not to be seen. So now with 1 inhibitor remaining, a bit of the Baron buff still present, we wait for the shockwave once again.
It's back on cooldown. You can see Scout dodging skill shots, clearing out vision as he just keeps weaving back and forth, back and forth. Koro with Baron buff still bringing up those super minions down the mid lane, giving them enhanced movement speed as bottom is going to split push as well. They've still got so much time to play with this buff.
The Clearlove doesn't take damage. Even with the shield, he'll take less than nothing. He'll actually just have the shield stay on him. It's so tanky. He will dive. OMG are bringing over super minions to help.
And that's what they're doing as Koro races in, goes from Scout. The final inhibitor has been broken without a single chaotic team fight. OMG don't find the way to get back into this. It's now only the Nexus turrets and the Nexus as Xiyang eats a shockwave and is chunked down to half. Baroned up super minions are going in. Smlz is trying to get through, but has to zone himself away from Zet, who is starting to do tons of damage. Continues to push forward. Now they've got even more super minions rushing in with the Baron buff. It might be too late as Koro and Clearlove start the fight. There's the knockoff. Smlz firing in the back. He's on the fountain, but Zet is entering back with damage of his own. This fight might go even, but that doesn't matter because the Nexus itself is being battered by the minions, and EDG will knock it down, taking game number 1 of this third place match against OMG.
Don't even need to break a sweat. No need for reactions on the side of EDG. Just a clean victory. They go backstage and say, 2 more of those, we're set to go. But yeah. OMG, they've got a lot to prove after that one. That was way too easy to beat them.
Exactly, and like you said, where was this EDG yesterday? Playing the intelligent game and just taking almost no risks. And
they were on the bench.
They certainly are. And joining us on the desk now to help break down this game number 1, Indiana Frost, you're in black. I see that you've gone for a different style with the hair.
Yeah, I figured we need to mix it up and go a little bit more hardcore analysis as we broke into these series and take a look at that stairway to heaven in a gold graph. Just to echo what you guys were saying, I especially like Rusty's point, where was this EDG yesterday? This EDG yesterday was on that bench. Clearlove and Koro, we said it wasn't going to be a hard carry by them, but it's how they influence and how they affect Scout, Zet, and Meiko's performance. And those 3 certainly stepped up.
Yeah, we saw a huge amount of damage coming out of Scout. Take a look at that, 21.5. Zet was stepping forward, not flashing when people were burning ultimates to try to kill him. So much faith in his team, and even Koro showed up top as well.
I mean, quite simply, OMG get an early gank off on the Scout. They set themselves up by killing the most important member on EDG, and EDG still say whatever, bounce back even better because they bring 2 mid to actually counter that play even better. They one up OMG, and just like that, the ball started rolling.
Yeah, and like you said, it did all start from just timing out those flashes, finding World 6 and trading for that 2-for-1 in the early engage, but it seemed like the momentum, it was slow to start, but once EDG had found it, there was no stopping this massive boulder.
Yeah, and the big boulder, like the little pebble that let the boulder roll through, was the 2 mid lane towers going down so early. So mid-outer was the first tower to fall around 12:06, and then believe the second one fell between that and 18 minutes. And what that did is it unlocked Scout. Suddenly the Orianna is getting solo kills, not only in the mid lane on Icon, but in the top lane on Renekton. And it unlocks Scout to be that hyper-aggressive player and that X factor that we know he can be. And again, it's not like you see Clearlove like camping his lane, but whatever it is, the team feels so much more confident because it's not just Scout then making the solo kills, it's Zet. Rusty, you said during the cast, like arrow after arrow, even if they weren't connecting, at least he was firing them. And for whatever reason, he just looks like a completely different player when Clearlove and Meiko are there on the field with him.
Yeah, and we've got to wonder, how come it's taken so long to see this final version of EDG return? I mean, this is effectively 2016 Edward Gaming making a showing for themselves, and why now in the 3rd, 4th place match when they can no longer compete for the finals in Nanjing?
Well, that said, it might be an oversight, but we don't really know what's going on behind the stage with the team. But 3rd, 4th is still incredibly important. And I think it goes back to this idea about mental fortitude, about having a leadership role and a strong voice within the team. We know that EDG historically as an org will do this. When they went to the World Championship last year, they actually decided to start Pawn over a couple of games. And the global audience are like, oh yeah, Pawn, the mid laner of LPL. No, Pawn hadn't played a single game that split, really. It was all Scout as the starting mid laner, but they felt scared starting a rookie there.
MVP, though, is going to go towards that mid laner you were talking about. It's Scout, 7-2-4, a rookie just a short while ago, but seeing how he performed in this set, you cannot count this guy out.
I think it's safe to say that the confidence shown by Scout is MVP worthy in its own right because it lets EDG use the advantage and make the big plays, throwing out the shockwaves to hit one person all game. It's not going to be a highlight reel coming out of him, but it's still the most important part of actually breaking towers or breaking the base, just getting that one pick that gives them the objective in the Baron.
And like we said, it came around that communication that we were seeing them siege around this, tossing ultimates left and right, timing out those ultimates from OMG, the flashes even, before knowing, hey, we've got a window here, let's dive, take the turret, take the kills, and get out.
The communication just translated into confidence, and that was the biggest difference between today's EDG and yesterday's EDG, having the confidence to look for those single shockwaves, to throw out those arrows, and to follow them up. Even Koro, how aggressive he was getting in that Baron fight, finding the backline there, and then when the tank Fizz didn't die, Koro was just like popping in, just creating space. Like, doesn't matter. If I die here, I have the confidence that my team will do something with it.
And like you said, this is a very confident lineup from EDG. Can we assume that it is only coming from Clearlove and Koro, or perhaps is this EDG, the remaining 3 members, starting to pull themselves together this